Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some CasterMuse Star League Season 4. This is from the round of 24, Group F, and it's the winner's match between Sacsri in the bottom right and Light in the bottom left. First, Light probably needs no introduction, but I will give it to him. Second best Terran player in the world if you are studying Terran. He's got the style you want to study. He plays just a very standard, orthodox, normal style most of the time. A lot of flash stuff is very big-brained and hard to replicate, but Light will give you some great fundamentals. Sacsri over here, I generally think of him as a more aggressive player, but he definitely can play macro. A very smart player as well. I think he's underrated. It was a strong StarCraft 2 champion and now just a strong player in StarCraft 1. Not someone that you think will win a championship, but definitely can make some upsets and beat the world's best players on any given day. Now the map is Optimizer. This is a map where you do get 2 geysers in your main, but they're not 5,000. We have 4,000 and 1,000. So it can give you a little boost. You can optimize your build quite a bit with something like that. We'll see how that comes into play. This is definitely a very popular map for doing things like crazy Zerg. But that being said, over looking at Light's side, the Terran side here, it's possible that we can see something like a 1-1-1 or mech on this map as well. Although we do sometimes see people play as bio, I feel like it's a little bit hard to finish a game as bio here. And in fact, Light is going to tech. And I think that this tells you a lot about the map, because Light is a player who, for a very long time, he's mostly been known for his Terran versus Zerg, because his bio play, his marine medic play with science vessels, his SK Terran, has really been his strongest suit. Some people have even thought that he plays that better than Flash does, which is really saying something. So it's where he's strongest and where you'll see him play most of his Terran vs. Zerg games. But here he is taking the gas, so we'll be doing something else, something more tech heavy. Now, I would like to see mech personally. I think that modified Goliath builds are fantastic on this map. We saw one last season in ASL that was just killer. I think it might have been JYJ. I don't remember completely, but definitely some really cool builds that exist because of that additional geyser. As SCV comes in, scouts what is going on. It is a 2 hatchery opening here from Sacsri, which is all the rage. You don't really see 3 hatch all that much anymore. It's mostly about getting that quick layer up around 3 minutes. Which is fine. This build does completely all right against that. He is going for the factory. I imagine what we're going to see from Light is a command center following the factory. And then we'll see from there, right? Does he go Goliaths or does he go into the starport? Both are definitely very doable. Okay, the layer is making. Light just kind of keeping tabs on what's going on. How many Zerglings, how many drones. Important stuff that you need to know as the Terran. But nothing too much, right? Sacsri's Overlord over here, checking out what's happening. I think he did poke in and see that the command center is starting at what time. And when you see the command center starting around 3:20, that is always going to mean that it is a factory for the command center. So throwing down the creep colony, he wants to make sure that a vulture doesn't just come in and win the game, because without a sunken, it actually will. One vulture can absolutely win the game against a Zerg that has only drones and lings. That vulture being made right now, and the armory coming up. So we are going to see from Light the Goliath build. Now there's a few different Goliath builds out there. There's macro Goliath builds where you are going to go for like maxed out supply and multiple bases. There's 2 base all-in Goliath builds. There's also Goliath into bio builds that exist. This one right now looks okay. That's a second factor. I was going to say that it looks like Goliath into bio. If he doesn't get the second factory, that's generally what that'll be. But with the second factory, this should be a more standard Goliath build. He's getting the Goliaths as quickly as he can here. He's only made a single vulture, or 2 vultures rather, sorry, instead of 3. If you make 3, generally you're going to run in and see if you can get damage done. Here you keep 1 outside the Zerg main to see what's going on, and 1 to catch any lings that snuck out in front of your base. So Light playing very safe, figuring out what's what. Looks like Sacsri wants to jump a drone to go take an additional base. Going to take his third up here, and that's going to be very hard for mech to actually end up walking to. You don't really go starport with mech builds very much. And when you do, it's a lot later. So it's hard to actually kill something like this off. So the third hatchery is here for macro purposes and also blocking the vulture from running in. Spire going to be completing relatively soon. Light going for actually a very quick second gas. That is something of note, the speed of that second gas. I did not expect to see that quite so quickly. Yeah, we'll see what he does with that. He is getting the +1 attack. Maybe this is going to be a macro Goliath build. It's actually very hard to say right now. They don't differentiate that much at this point, but that's kind of what I'm leaning towards seeing here from Light, based on the way that he's playing, right? Getting more gas a little bit more quickly, and yeah, he's just kind of building his turrets up right now. That additional gas more quickly will help you to get your 2-1 upgrades going a little bit more smoothly. Also, just the fact that he's getting +1 weapons first, because early game, if you're going to go for a more aggressive Goliath play, the armor is very, very useful against Mutalisks and basically everything else. And you don't care because you still get the +1 attack afterwards. Whereas if you're going for a macro play, the +2 attack is much better than +2 armor. So, yeah, all those things kind of making me think that that's what he's going for. Well, a few Goliaths going to go out and venture their way into the map. Goliath range is done. Their +1 attack, not quite. Sacsri has his third base finishing. A lot of mutas flying around. Well, not a lot of mutas yet, but a decent amount of mutas flying around. And going to take an additional gas. Oh, okay. And 4 gases. So he is going to explode his gas macro. Like, I think what we're going to see is a gigantic Mutalisk all-in. And you know what? That is definitely something that can cause a lot of pain. If you make mutas non-stop against Goliaths non-stop, the mutas actually will end up beating that a lot of the time. Like if Terran walks out and doesn't realize that you're pure Mutalisk with some of these Goliath builds, the mutas actually win. So you don't really have any splash damage with Goliaths, right? It's more about you want them to mix in other units, then the Goliaths can kind of beat everything. Oh, this is going to be a very interesting game. I've never seen a Zerg quite do it like this. Like, I've definitely seen the mass Mutalisk play before, because it is really strong, and it's definitely one way to beat the Goliath build if they don't realize what's happening. Now, look at this. He's split off a group of mutas. He's just showing about 5 there. And that can make Light think that it's not mass muta. If you see 12 mutas now after you saw 5 earlier, that's kind of a tell that you're still making mutas. Here he's only shown the original amount that he showed early on when he flew in. So he's trying to be a little bit sneaky about the amount that he has, the fact that he's still making them. Because if you catch on that they're making nothing but mutas, then you can go into splash damage. You can build additional turrets. You can decide, okay, do I want Volks here? Probably not. Do I want vessels here? Yeah, probably. Right now, Light is going up to 6 factories. He's making siege tanks as well. He's really utilizing this third gas plus the earlier taken natural gas. And he's going to make a really strong army, but he's spending gas on siege tanks. That doesn't help against mutas. And this is a ridiculous amount of mutas, a silly amount of mutas. And when Light leaves, if Sacsri jumps on it, Sacsri should be able to kill all of his units. Okay, that was a lot of mutas to spot, right? He definitely knows there's more than the original 5 now. Your comsat scanner is always a bit late with a build like this that Light is doing. So he can't actually check exactly what's going on. A lot of times you can just do a scan here and see and be like, oh god, there's not a single Hydra. We don't see a Hydralisk den. Yeah, this is pure muta. So honestly, like, this is kind of a crazy game. All right, Sacsri jumping in. Okay, that's a lot of mutas targeting down these Goliaths, but he is going to run back to his turrets. I think Light is going to be fine right here. Sacsri really going super aggro here. That is a lot of mutas. More Goliaths coming out. Doesn't have any turrets actually supporting it at this location, so that does make it a little bit more difficult. You do generally when something like this happens, want to run back to your turrets so you have those extra hits and that extra soaking. Sacsri's starting to break through. Light, nothing but pure Goliaths, making some more turrets as well. And will Sacsri remain? Will he continue to do this harassment? He's getting very low on a lot of these. I think he has to turn around now, doesn't he? Oh, I guess there's only one turret in the main base as well. Starts to target down one of those siege tanks. Honestly, not the most valuable unit there for Light. And a lot of the mutas do end up falling. He's hurt Light's economy quite a bit, though, right? We're down to 33 SCVs. He picked off quite a few of the Goliaths. Now you have to judge as Light, where exactly are you at? Are you in a position where you can break pure muta? He lost a lot of Goliaths. He made a lot of tanks. But he did kill a ton of the mutas as well. It looks like Sacsri gonna go ahead and do a counterattack as Light is moving out with his full army. Look at this. A big army going to do a push, but only a single turret in the main. He's targeting down the armory. That is a huge move. If you kill the armory, no more Goliaths can be made. And there's no way that Light has a second army. There'd be no reason for it. So now Light can't make anything. Not as if he has a lot of money anyways. He's building all these turrets and not mining from his main. So this has turned into a bit of a base trade. Light does have the siege tanks to push through these Sunkens very easily. But look at this Mutalisks count. It is so easy to just dive on these turrets. He actually has +2 carapace on the way. Not there quite yet, but knocking out all of the anti-air defenses here for Light, which means Light has to win with what he has. He has nothing left at home. He's barely mining anything right now, just running SCVs around. Looks like he wants to send back a group of Goliaths. But, I mean, this group of Goliaths can't kill these mutas, so he has to hope that when the Goliaths shoot, the mutas turn around and run. Because if the mutas turn around and engage this, he'll just lose all these Goliaths, and then the rest of these can be cleaned up relatively easily. What a base trade we have here. The mutas diving into the main. Oh, here come the Goliaths, and the mutas just gonna go and fight. That +2 never did finish for them. The Goliaths do have 1-1. Great micro here from Light, but it's not going to be enough. Still over 12 mutas left over here for Sacsri. And now, Sacsri, what does he do? It looks like he's deciding to just target down the command center. He's saying, nah, get out of the game. You're not even going to be mining at this point. And he is right about that. Light has just about no money left. He just has this army. So it comes down to nothing for Light. EGGs, and that is gonna be that. Sacsri advances.